why angels avoid bedrooms with these four things, why the mess of the world finds a nest where the spirit refuses to rest, why the holy wings of light, pure as morning dew, hesitate at the doorway of a room where shadows are entertained. The truth is not hidden. It is alive, it is sharp, it is like fire. And today the fire burns into the walls of your heart, into the corners of your room, into the secret places where you sleep, where you dream, where your soul is supposed to find rest. But angels are not blind, they are not deaf, they are not careless. They see what you place on the shelf, what you allow under the bed, what you welcome into your space. Do not enter where the enemy is enthroned. They do not sing where darkness is fed. Your bedroom is not just a room. It is not just four walls and a door. It is an altar. It is a sanctuary. It is where your body surrenders to rest, where your soul slips into the silence of dreams, where spirits hover and whispers pass through the air unseen. It is a gate. And at every gate, angels or demons stand. At every gate, blessings or curses enter. And so I say, the first thing that keeps angels away, the first poison in the room, is the idol you bring inside. The statue, the charm, the picture painted with darkness, the object carved in rebellion. Some call it art, some call it tradition, some call it harmless decoration, but heaven calls it defilement. Angels do not sit where idols sit. They do not share space with carved gods, with masks that carry spirits of the dead, with symbols that belong to false powers. You may say, it is only wood, it is only clay, it is only paint. But I tell you, wood can carry fire, clay can carry poison, paint can carry shadows. Angels know the origin of what you display. They see the spirit behind the sculpture. They smell the incense of another altar, and they do not enter. The second thing, the second chain that keeps the wings of heaven folded outside your door, is the bed of impurity, the sheets that remember sin, the pillow that carries unrepented tears of lust, the mattress that has become a stage for unholy acts. Your bed is not just a bed. It is a covenant space. It is either a covenant with God in purity or a covenant with darkness in sin. And angels will not guard a bed where impurity is practiced and entertained. They do not stand watch over lustful dreams. They do not hover over stained sheets that were never cleansed with repentance. And some of you wonder, why do nightmares chase me? Why do shadows press me in the night? Why do whispers haunt my sleep? Because angels cannot fight for a place you have surrendered to sin. They stand at a distance, waiting for repentance, waiting for cleansing, waiting for holiness to be restored. And while they wait, the enemy plays. The third thief in the night is the voice of violence. The television that speaks blood, the music that sings corruption, the posters that glorify murder, the books that preach rebellion. You fill your room with noise that chases away peace. You decorate your walls with stories of brokenness. You sing along to the language of hell. And then you wonder, where are the angels? Why do I not feel their protection? Why do I sense no light when I lie down? Angels cannot dwell where your atmosphere is poisoned with violence and profanity. They are drawn to worship, not to war cries of evil. They are drawn to truth, not to lies packaged in rhythm. They are drawn to purity, not to vulgarity. And so the angels pass by your room while the demons dance to the soundtrack you play. The fourth thing, the final barrier, is unforgiveness buried under your pillow, bitterness folded inside your blanket, hatred stored like dust in the corners of your room. You think angels do not see what you hide in your heart. you think they are fooled by your silence. No. They hear the conversations you replay in your mind, the curses you whisper when no one is around, the grudges you rehearse as you fall asleep. Your bedroom becomes a courtroom. Your bed becomes a witness stand. Your thoughts become chains. Angels carry peace, but they cannot pour peace into a vessel filled with hate. They cannot bring light into a room where resentment is the furniture. They wait for you to release, to forgive, to let go, to breathe freedom into your atmosphere. And I tell you, these four things, idols, impurity, violence, unforgiveness, are not just objects, not just habits, not just thoughts. They are invitations. Invitations to darkness, invitations to restless sleep, invitations to spiritual thieves. You decorate your room and you decorate your soul at the same time. What you allow near your bed will visit you in your dreams. What you place in your room will echo in your spirit. And angels, holy messengers, will not enter where darkness rules. Your bedroom is supposed to be a sanctuary, a place where heaven meets earth in whispers, a place where dreams are kissed by the Spirit, a place where angels can minister to you as you rest. Jacob slept and saw a ladder reaching heaven. Daniel slept and angels came with visions. Joseph slept and heaven warned him in a dream. Sleep is not just rest, it is revelation, it is warfare, it is communion. But if your bedroom is filled with idols, impurity, violence, and unforgiveness, then your sleep becomes a battlefield you always lose. So I speak as a voice crying into your room, cleanse the space. Throw away the objects that carry strange spirits. Wash your bed with repentance. Silence the noise of corruption. Release forgiveness into the air. Let your room be a temple, not a tomb. Let your sleep be an altar, not a battlefield. Let your bedroom be a place angels desire to enter, not a place they avoid with grief. You may laugh, you may scoff, you may say, it is only decoration, it is only entertainment, it is only private pain. But heaven is watching. Angels are listening, and the demons you ignore are dancing. You cannot live careless with what you allow in the place of your rest. You cannot invite darkness and expect light to stay. Your room is the gate of your night, and the night is the gate of your soul. Guard it. Guard it with fire. Guard it with prayer. Guard it with purity. I tell you, there are people who cry every night with no explanation. They feel pressed, they feel watched, they feel suffocated in their own bed. And they think it is only stress, only fear, only imagination. But no, it is spiritual. Their room has become a cage where angels cannot enter. The objects on their shelves are doors for spirits. The axe on their bed are chains for demons. The music on their speaker is a feast for darkness, and the bitterness in their heart is poison in the air. But the good news is this: what keeps angels away can be removed. What pushes them out can be cast away. What silences their presence can be broken with repentance, with cleansing, with surrender. It does not take gold. It does not take rituals. It does not take endless struggle. It takes one act of obedience, one act of cleansing, one prayer of surrender, one choice to throw away what defiles, one decision to forgive, one step into holiness. Then angels return. Then light fills your room. Then peace guards your sleep. Then your dreams carry visions of heaven instead of nightmares of hell. Then your bed becomes an altar of covenant, not a battlefield of torment. And you wake up refreshed because heaven was in your room. You wake up strong because angels stood guard. You wake up free because the chains were broken while you slept. So I ask you, what is in your bedroom? What objects sit on your shelves? What music echoes on your walls? What memories stain your bed? What grudges breathe under your pillow? Tonight, when you go back to your room, do not just see furniture. See a temple. Do not just see decoration. See altars. Do not just see silence. Hear voices and ask yourself, will angels enter here or will they pass me by? For angels avoid bedrooms with these four things. They avoid idols. They avoid impurity. They avoid violence. They avoid unforgiveness. And where they avoid, darkness invades. But where they dwell, heaven reigns. Where they enter, peace flows. Where they stay, God's presence rests. And I tell you again, angels avoid bedrooms with these four things. They do not argue with you about it. They do not negotiate. They do not compromise. They are holy. They are messengers of the Most High. They come carrying the fragrance of heaven, and they cannot share a room where the stench of sin lingers. They are clothed in purity, and they cannot sit on a bed where impurity has ruled. They come bearing light, and they cannot remain in a space filled with shadows. They are guardians of peace, and they cannot dwell where bitterness has built a throne. But you, child of man, you are given a choice to cleanse or to keep, to invite or to resist, to create a temple or to create a tomb. And too often, people say with their lips that they want angels, but with their actions, they push them away. They cry for protection, yet they refuse to remove the idols. They cry for peace, yet they sleep in impurity. They cry for revelation, yet they feed their room with violence. They cry for God's presence, yet they cling to unforgiveness. Angels are not moved by words that do not match deeds. They are moved by truth. They are moved by obedience. They are moved by purity. Do you know why Jacob's ladder was seen in the night? Do you know why angels ascended and descended while he slept on the ground? Because even the ground was cleaner than the defiled bed of sin. He had no idol near him, only a stone. He had no entertainment of corruption, only the silence of the desert. He had no unforgiveness to choke the air, only a prayer of longing, and heaven opened. He saw what others never see. He touched what others never touch. Angels walked into his dream because the atmosphere was pure. But in your room is the atmosphere pure? When the lamp is off and silence covers the house, does your spirit glow with light, or does your heart throb with shadows? When you sleep, do you rise with peace, or do you wake up exhausted as if you wrestled with unseen forces? When angels come near, do they linger or do they turn back? I tell you, purity is a magnet for heaven. Holiness is a fragrance for angels. Worship is a key that opens their entrance. But idols repel, impurity repels, violence repels, unforgiveness repels. You do not need to call them loudly. If the room is holy, they will come on their own, drawn by the atmosphere. And you do not need to beg them to stay. If your room is polluted, they will leave, driven out by darkness. How many times have you felt a presence in the night, but you could not say it was holy? How many times have you woken up with fear, unable to move, unable to breathe, and you called it a nightmare, but it was more? Do you think angels would allow such oppression if they had been there? No, they were outside waiting because your room told them to stay away. And the very things you considered harmless became the very doors demons used to step in. The poster on your wall, the charm hanging by your bed, the necklace laid on the dresser, the painting gifted by a stranger, the music you play before you sleep, the grudges you nurse as lullabies, all of them speak in the spirit. You may not hear, but angels hear. You may not see, but they see. You may not know, but they know. Angels are guardians of order, and they do not dwell in chaos. If your room is a storm of clutter, disorder, and filth, it speaks too. Dust is not just dust, it is neglect. Disorder is not just disorder, it is a throne for confusion. And confusion is the cousin of darkness. Angels walk in order, not confusion. They are attracted to alignment, not chaos. Even the arrangement of your space matters. Even the silence of your night matters. Even the posture of your sleep matters. Heaven is precise. And so angels do not stay where your neglect has built an altar of dust. You think a room is just a room, but heaven sees it as a gate. Demons see it as a gate. Angels see it as a gate to your heart, a gate to your dreams, a gate to your tomorrow. When you close your eyes, you are not alone. You are either surrounded by wings of light or wings of shadows. And which ones stand around you depends on what you allow in your space. Do not say, I will pray loudly and keep everything else. Do not say, my words will protect me while my actions invite darkness. Prayer without cleansing is like perfume sprayed on rot. It smells for a moment, but the stench remains. You must remove what is unholy, not just pray against it. You must cleanse, not just cover. You must uproot, not just decorate. There are mothers who wonder why their children cry in their sleep every night. They run to comfort them, but the crying continues. They think it is only a phase, but it is not. Angels would protect the child, but the very toys in the room, the cartoons on the screen, the charms above the bed have chased angels away, and the child fights battles alone, innocent but unprotected, because the guardians could not enter. There are men who wake up in cold sweat, haunted by dreams of lust and shadows. They think it is only stress, only their imagination. But the impurity they allowed in their bed opened a door. The angels who should fight for them cannot step on that stained ground. And so they fight alone, waking up weaker, more exhausted, more chained. There are women who cannot find peace in their sleep. They replay betrayals, they rehearse grudges, they meditate on bitterness as they close their eyes. And angels of peace stand at the doorway, unable to pour peace where poison fills the air. They wait, but they cannot enter. And the woman wakes up with heavy eyes, heavy heart, heavy spirit, because the bed of unforgiveness is too thick for peace to land. Listen, child of dust and breath, your bedroom is not a playground. It is not a dumping ground. It is not a museum of idols and memories. It is an altar. And altars must be kept holy. Altars must be guarded. Altars must be cleansed. Angels walk on holy ground. If your bedroom is holy ground, they will stay. If it is defiled ground, they will leave. It is that simple. Some of you say, but I do not know where these things came from. They were gifts. They were inherited. They are family treasures. Listen, if they carry shadows, throw them out. If they carry strange spirits, do not honor them in your house. For what is the use of honoring your ancestors if their masks block the presence of heaven? What is the use of treasuring a gift if it carries chains with it? Better to sleep with an empty wall than to sleep with a decorated curse. Better to rest on a clean floor than to lie on a bed stained by impurity. Better to have silence than to fill your ears with music that attracts demons. You have power to choose. Angels do not force their way. They do not break your door. They wait for invitation. And invitation is not only words. It is atmosphere. It is objects. It is actions. It is thoughts. Cleanse your atmosphere, and you will not need to beg for angels. They will come running. For holiness is their dwelling place. I tell you, the enemy is not afraid of your loud voice if your room is filled with idols. He is not afraid of your many prayers if your bed is a stage for impurity. He is not afraid of your declarations if your speakers play his songs. He is not afraid of your fasting if your heart is heavy with bitterness. The enemy is only afraid when your space is holy, when your atmosphere is pure, when angels are free to walk in and out without hindrance. That is when fear disappears. That is when torment flees. That is when rest returns. Your room can be a ladder like Jacob's, or it can be a prison like Saul's when an evil spirit tormented him. Your bed can be a place of angelic dreams like Joseph's, or a battlefield of lust and nightmares. Your silence can be filled with heavenly whispers, or it can be haunted by demonic laughter. The choice is yours. So I repeat it again because repetition is the drumbeat of truth. The angels avoid bedrooms with these four things: idols, impurity, violence, and unforgiveness. Remove them and heaven enters. Keep them and heaven waits outside. And again, I lift my voice not to entertain your ears, but to pierce your soul, to awaken your spirit, to remind you of what you have forgotten, or perhaps what you never knew. Angels do not come cheaply. Their presence is not casual. They are servants of the Almighty, flames of fire, ministers of holiness. They carry the fragrance of heaven in their garments, the songs of eternity in their lips, the authority of God in their steps. They are not like men who can compromise, who can negotiate with shadows. They are not like flesh that excuses impurity. They are pure and they require purity. They are holy and they require holiness. They are light and they require light. And so they will never enter a room where idols stand tall, where impurity defiles the bed, where violence fills the air, where unforgiveness poisons the atmosphere. Do you not know that angels are guardians of your night? They are messengers who come to whisper warnings in your dreams, who come to strengthen your spirit while your flesh sleeps, who come to war against the arrows that fly by night. But how can they fight for you when you have opened the gates to the enemy? How can they stand guard when you have surrendered the key? How can they minister when the altar has been desecrated? Some of you wonder why you wake up more tired than when you went to bed. You thought sleep was rest, but you did not rest. Your body slept, but your spirit fought all night. Nightmares chased you, shadows pressed you, whispers tormented you. And when you woke, there was no peace, no joy, no strength. Why? Because the angels were not there. They could not stand on ground that was defiled. They could not hover where impurity lingered. They could not dwell where unforgiveness screamed louder than prayers. And so the battle was fought without them, and you carried the scars into the morning. Do you not understand that sleep is sacred? It is not merely biological. It is spiritual. When you sleep, your spirit travels, your soul is open, your heart is vulnerable. You are not aware, but the spirit world is fully awake. That is when visions are given. That is when warnings are sent. That is when assignments are released. That is when arrows are fired. That is when angels are supposed to surround you like a shield. But if your bedroom is a nest of idols, a den of impurity, a theater of violence, or a graveyard of grudges, the shield is removed. The guardians are absent. The messengers wait outside, grieving, unable to enter. And so you rise every morning weaker than before. You rise with chains heavier than yesterday. You rise with curses thick around your head, because the angels could not minister to you. They avoided your room, for it was not holy ground. Let me speak about idols again, for idols are not only statues, they are not only carved images of gods. They are not only masks from ancient tribes. Idols are anything that competes with God in your room, in your heart, in your space. A poster that glorifies what is unholy is an idol. A picture that celebrates what God hates is an idol. A charm you keep for luck is an idol. Even your obsession with certain objects, if it steals your trust in God, becomes an idol. And angels, holy messengers, will never sit in a room filled with idols. They will never share space with objects that are worshipped more than God. They will never compete for glory with lifeless things. And yet many sleep under the shadow of idols and wonder why the light of heaven avoids them. And impurity. Oh, impurity cries louder than prayer. You can shout, you can fast, you can sing, but if your bed is defiled, the cry of impurity reaches heaven before your words. Your bed becomes a testimony against you. The sheets, the mattress, the walls, they remember. They carry records of what has been done. Unless washed with repentance, unless cleansed by surrender, they testify in the night. And angels will not cover such beds. They will not hover over such memories. They are holy, and holiness does not mix with lust. And so impurity becomes a barrier, a wall, a door slammed shut in the face of heaven's messengers. Violence, too, is not only blood on your hands. It is the blood on your screen. It is the music in your ears that glorifies rebellion. It is the words of hatred that echo in your space. Violence is a spirit, and when you invite it through entertainment, through art, through stories, you invite its friends too. Spirits of fear, of anger, of torment, of unrest. Angels will not share a room with violence. They are messengers of peace, not companions of chaos. And so your room becomes too hostile for them, too heavy for them, too polluted for them. And unforgiveness, the silent killer of peace. You think it is hidden, but it speaks louder than your prayers. You think it is private, but it pollutes your atmosphere. You think it is justified, but it keeps heaven outside. Unforgiveness is poison, and angels cannot breathe in poison. They wait at the door, they hover outside, but they do not enter a room where hatred is fed. They bring peace, but they cannot pour peace into a bitter cup. So what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to decorate your walls with idols and invite shadows into your sleep? Will you continue to lie in impurity and expect angels to ignore the stains? Will you continue to fill your atmosphere with violence and hope for peace to stay? Will you continue to cradle unforgiveness and wonder why your heart never rests? You must choose. For angels are ready. They are willing. They are waiting. They are not far, but they will not compromise. They will not break the law of holiness. They will not bend for you. You must bend for them. You must align with heaven if you want heaven to align with you. You must cleanse your bedroom if you want angels to dwell in your bedroom. I have seen people transform their rooms and transform their lives. They threw out idols and suddenly peace entered. They cleansed their beds with repentance and suddenly their dreams were visions instead of nightmares. They silenced the noise of violence and suddenly worship filled the air. They forgave and suddenly angels flooded their space. Their mornings became lighter. Their nights became sweeter. Their days became stronger. Not because they shouted louder prayers, but because they cleansed the gate. Do not despise this word. Do not laugh at it. Do not say, it is too simple. For the ways of God are simple but powerful. Angels avoid bedrooms with these 4 things, but they flock to bedrooms where holiness reigns. They crowd into rooms filled with prayer, with worship, with purity, with forgiveness. They stand guard around beds that are consecrated. They bring dreams from heaven to those who prepare the altar of their room. They fight battles for those who have cleansed the gate of their sleep. So hear me once more. Let the words echo in your spirit like a drumbeat that will not stop: idols, impurity, violence, unforgiveness. 4 things that build walls against angels. 4 things that build bridges for demons. 4 things that corrupt your sanctuary. 4 things that invite torment. Remove them and the atmosphere changes. Remove them and angels return. Remove them and peace flows. Remove them and heaven enters. For angels avoid bedrooms with these 4 things: